All right, I'll start with this. I love both guys. I have respect for both guys. And look, we're close to Usyk, so I'm not going to hide that.
Just tell me, head on the block now, does Dubois do it second time against Usyk? Gets outboxed, yeah.
He gets outboxed again.
Does he get stopped?
What's up, fight fans? And welcome back to the channel. The boxing world is buzzing as Daniel "Dynamite" Dubois gears up for his highly anticipated rematch against unified heavyweight champion Oleksandr Usyk. After the controversy surrounding their first encounter, all eyes are on whether Dubois can change the narrative, or if Usyk will once again prove too skilled and too slick. Plenty of boxing experts are sharing their predictions, and Simon Jordan is firmly backing Dubois this time, believing the British powerhouse has matured into a legitimate contender. Jordan was particularly impressed by Dubois' gladiator-like entrance at Wembley Stadium, calling it a moment that signaled true readiness for war. According to Jordan, Dubois must finish the fight inside the distance, as winning on points simply won't be enough.
And there's no favoritism here. I think it's Daniel Dubois' time. I think he's a ferocious
Have to agree with you.
beast. And I think he deserves all the plaudits. I think what walked into Wembley Stadium was an absolute gladiator, and I'm thrilled for him. He's coming out to himself, growing as a man, becoming more worldly and able to communicate with the media, and I think it's going to be a fabulous fight. And
I believe that he can get it done inside the distance.
I think he has to get done inside the distance.
Yeah. You don't think he can win on points?
I think it's unlikely.
Yeah.
I think it's unlikely. But whatever, July 9th.
Against a technician like Usyk, winning on points is, in Jordan's view, highly unlikely. Dubois, however, enters this rematch with supreme confidence, stating that every fighter dreams of beating the best, and that's exactly what he intends to do. He believes Usyk has had his moment, but now it's his time to take over. Dubois maintains that the controversial body shot in their first fight was a clean, legitimate blow, and he's returning to settle the score and silence any lingering doubts. In his own words, he's a changed man and a better fighter, ready to prove it to the world.
You see them, and you see what they've done, and then, you know, when you get the opportunity, I want to win. I want to beat him as well. He's been up there a while, and he's had his day. So now it's my time. I'm really confident and ready to fight.
Do you still try to tell us that 2 years ago in Poland you beat Oleksandr Usyk?
It was about that, you know. It was, in my opinion, that was a proper body shot. I mean, you know, I could go over it, but it was a body shot that landed, and now I have a chance to clear up the controversy. You know, just right to say it clean. You know, I've come back. You guys have seen I've come back a new man, a different man, a new fighter, and I'm just excited to show that.
Atlas has respect for both men, especially Usyk, but also admires Dubois' perseverance. He believes Dubois has grown significantly, both physically and mentally, following his defeats to Joe Joyce and Usyk. According to Atlas, those setbacks were true tests of Dubois' character, and his comeback speaks volumes about his determination and evolution as a fighter.
The man he is and what he's become. That he fell apart in 2 fights. Yeah, different things happen, I get it, but, you know, physical things happen in the fight with Joyce, and then in the fight with Usyk, where, you know, Usyk, some people think that it should have been a punch to the body, it shouldn't have been a breakage and a stoppage, and that it changed the fight. The bottom line was, at the end of the day, in both Joyce, it's about overcoming. Boxing and fighting is about overcoming. Yeah, look up the definition in Webster's of boxing, fighting. I don't know what you're going to find exactly. You know, Marcus of Queensberry rules, putting gloves on, you know, pugilism. For me, the definition of fighting is overcoming. That's it. Overcoming. To be a champion, somewhere along the line, you got to find a way to overcome. And Dubois found
McKenzie believes Usyk's ring IQ and movement are simply too much for Dubois to handle, predicting that Dubois will be outboxed or possibly even stopped. So, who are you backing in this heavyweight clash? Let us know in the comments. Meanwhile, Tony Bellew believes Daniel Dubois is entering the rematch against Oleksandr Usyk as a more mature and mentally stronger fighter, showing clear signs of growth since their first encounter.
He broke down. Mentally, emotionally, whatever you want to call it, physically, but I think more mentally in both the Joyce fight and Usyk fight. But he came back, he redeemed himself, and he did what you said. He fought those 3 tough fights, and those fights, I think he would have fought them for free, at least the first 2, because it was about redeeming himself. It wasn't about getting paid. It was about finding out who he was, finding out what kind of man he was. It was really about living the rest of his life with pride instead of the opposite, with some shame. It was really about being able to get up every day and go outside and feel good about who walks outside on the road and what people are going to see. It was really about looking in the mirror and liking what was looking
Bellew sees
back.
Dubois as someone who now understands what it truly takes to win at the highest level. However, despite acknowledging Dubois' growth, he still expects Usyk's superior skills and ring intelligence to ultimately break him down. In the end, Bellew is predicting another Usyk victory.
Head on the block now. Does Dubois do it second time against Usyk? He gets outboxed, yeah.
He gets outboxed again.
Does he get stopped?
Bellew is predicting another Usyk victory, either a late stoppage or a clear decision. He describes Usyk as an anomaly and a genius, a once-in-a-generation talent who operates on a different level. According to Bellew, Usyk is exactly the kind of boxer the sport needs. While all reigns eventually come to an end, Bellew doesn't believe Dubois will be the one to dethrone him. After already defeating the likes of Anthony Joshua, Bellew sees Usyk as continuing to cement his legacy at the top of the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
So he knows how.
Yeah.
So he knows how hard it is, how tough it is. I believe the first fight with him that he'd had enough. He'd had enough, and he quit. So it is what it is. You can make as much of that or as little of it as you want. I think Daniel Dubois is now coming to a different stage in his career, where he's understanding now of what needs to be done and what's at stake. I think he's shown that he can overcome difficult times in fights now, and I think the victory over Anthony Joshua is going to propel his confidence levels to an all-time high. So I think he's well in this fight. I think he's a super dangerous challenger, and he'll go into it with a lot of belief, but I believe that belief will get shrunk as the rounds pass and as the shots start getting landed on him. The questions will be asked of him again. Oleksandr Usyk will be victorious.
Oleksandr Usyk has already proven he can handle elite opponents, even someone as formidable as Tyson Fury, and many expect him to find a way to deal with Dubois once again. However, Dubois is making bold statements of his own, declaring his intent to put Usyk to sleep for good in this rematch. While respectful of Usyk's accomplishments, Dubois firmly believes that his current combination of speed and power will be overwhelming. He's promised a brutal war, signaling that he's coming, with everything he's got to shake up the heavyweight division.
Anomaly, he's a freak, he's the genius that boxing needs. This guy is, I can't put it into words how good he is and what he does, Jim, but ultimately all good things have to come to an end. Eventually, yes, but I just don't think Daniel Dubois is the man to bring it to an end.
So you go Usyk again?
I'm going Usyk again, and I think by late stoppage, if not points. I think he can stop him. Yeah, I just think he figures it out. It's what his mindset and his the frequency he's on is a different level to everybody else. It's like this guy's gone up against a 6'9" monster in Tyson Fury and figured him out.
Yeah.
This guy's gone up against one of the biggest punchers in boxing in Anthony Joshua and figured him out twice. He's already beaten Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois is a big, strong guy, immense power. I give him all the credit in the world, and he's overcome many demons. But he hasn't shown us yet that he can get this job done over 12 rounds, and I just don't see him stopping Oleksandr.
Dubois has vowed to tear Usyk apart and leave no doubt this time around. His confidence is sky high, and he's made it clear that he's not leaving anything to chance in this rematch, determined to settle the score once and for all.
Nail him to the canvas.
So categorically, Oleksandr Usyk, who's a great fighter, cannot take this version of Daniel Dubois' speed and power.
No way. No way. This time it's going to be proper war. Give you guys a bloodbath and, just tear him up. Put him to sleep.
Do you think this is the end of his career?
Will be. I'll make sure it is. I want to see England stop for that day and, lifting the crown and lifting all the belts up. I want to see the whole world stop. this will be the biggest fight in the world, and I want all eyes on it. So, yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna be historic and powerful.
Chris Eubank Jr. also weighed in, emphasizing that both men are riding strong momentum heading into the rematch. He believes this fight won't be decided by skill alone, but by mindset and mental toughness, factors that could ultimately separate the victor from the
I think
defeat.
Daniel Dubois, he's on a roll. He's coming off of a massive win against AJ. Usyk's also on a massive roll. So I think that fight's going to come down to
Whoever
mind.
stays focused and composed under pressure will have the edge, according to Eubank Jr. Even Usyk, ever humble, acknowledged the challenge ahead, stating that boxing is hard and expressing respect for anyone who steps into the ring, including Dubois. Promoter Frank Warren is equally hyped for the rematch, calling it a can't-miss showdown between two determined warriors with everything on the line.
Good fighter. Boxer, listen. I respect all who boxing in gym because I know it's very hard. I respect all my opponent. Daniel too, including him.
Yeah.
They share the ring together. I know he can hurt him. I know that Usyk, who I've got great admiration for, he's beaten every British fighter that he's been in with. But I believe that he has weaknesses, and it was nearly exploited in that first fight. That's the punch I always felt would give him problems. So Daniel knows what he's got to do in this next fight, and it's going to be a great fight. And as I said, it's historical because of the belts and so forth. If he comes through that, how bad is that? 48 years I've been doing this now. I mean, for him to come through and do that, heavyweight champion, and I've looked after a few British heavyweight world champions, but I think that would be something
Warren
special.
believes Dubois exposed cracks in Usyk during their first fight, and now knows exactly what needs to be done to finish the job. With all the belts on the line, he says this could be a historic moment in heavyweight boxing. So, who are you picking? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more Heavy Hitters content.